Out of the many islands in One Piece, few have been as highly anticipated as Elbaf. The land of the Giants has been an island the Straw Hats have wanted to visit since the beginning of their adventure. Ever since Dory and Broggy were first seen fighting on Little Garden, the Straw Hats took an interest in the Giants and the land that they came from. And right now in the story, the Straw Hats are as close as they have ever been to the land of the Giants. Oda has already begun sowing the seeds to make Elbaf a highly anticipated arc. The reveal that Saul is still alive, the reveal that the Giants salvaged the books from Ohara, and Shanks' completely one-sided decimation of the Kid Pirates off the coast of Elbaf. The land of the Giants has never been more relevant in the story than it is right now, and with Elbaf set to be the Straw Hats' next destination, the hype for Elbaf is higher than it has ever been. There are many reasons to be hyped for Elbaf, but to further add to this hype, I wanted to give you my top 5 reasons why Elbaf will be legendary. Let's get started. The completion of a dream. All of the Straw Hats want to visit Elbaf, but there was always one Straw Hat above all of them who wanted to visit Elbaf the most, Usopp. Usopp has developed a deep respect for the Giants, and is the Straw Hat the most eager to visit Elbaf. At the beginning of the series, the Straw Hats had a toast, stating their dreams before entering the Grand Line, and even after 20 years of One Piece, and 2 years into their adventure, none of the Straw Hats have achieved any of their dreams. Luffy hasn't become the Pirate King, Zoro is still not the world's strongest swordsman, Sanji hasn't found the All Blue, you get my point. But that is about to change on Elbaf. Some dreams we know will happen within the story, such as Luffy becoming King of the Pirates, and Zoro becoming the world's strongest swordsman. But some dreams are more debatable, such as Nami's map of the world, and Chopper being able to cure any sickness. But out of all of the Straw Hats' dreams, Usopp's was always the most questionable. There isn't a specific person for him to beat to achieve his dream, not a treasure to find, or a destination to reach. Only a change in his mindset. Only Usopp can really decide when he has become a brave warrior of the sea, and I believe he will be the first to achieve his dream on Elbaf. Elbaf is the embodiment of Usopp's dream, with Oda taking the time to remind the readers that Usopp wants to visit Elbaf every time he meets a new giant, where Elbaf is mentioned. Usopp's dream of becoming a brave warrior of the sea seems to be intrinsically tied to Elbaf itself, but just going to Elbaf on its own is not enough for him to achieve his dream, and I believe he will need one more factor to achieve his dream, that being his reunion with his father, Yasopp. Despite being a deadbeat dad, Usopp has nothing but love and respect for his father. Usopp has no ill feelings for Yasopp for leaving him and his mother behind in Syrup Village, and in fact, Usopp is proud of his father for becoming a pirate. Usopp has had his bravery questioned in just about every arc, with him running away from conflict any chance he gets, fleeing from his enemies, but ultimately building up enough courage to face his fears in the end. Yasopp will be the final step to Usopp achieving his dream. Usopp wants to be like his father, and he views his father as a brave warrior of the sea. How do you think Yasopp, a world-renowned pirate, and the top commander to one of the Yonko would say when he sees his son acting cowardly and running away from his enemies? Yasopp would be disappointed to see that his son is nothing more than a coward. I believe that Yasopp will scold Usopp for running away from his enemies and call Usopp a coward. Sure, this won't be the first time Usopp is called a coward, but having his father, the man he respects above anyone else in the world, calling him a coward would resonate with Usopp. This will be a powerful moment where Usopp will have to rise to the challenge and face his fears, so that he would not be a coward in the eyes of his father. Yasopp is the only person who can get through to Usopp and make him change his ways for good. Once Usopp understands that running away would mean being a coward in the eyes of his father, he will never run away ever again, finally becoming the man he always wanted to be, a brave warrior of the sea, a man his father can be proud of, becoming the first Straw Hat to achieve his dream, and changing Usopp's character forever, with Usopp finally becoming a brave warrior of the sea, just in time for the final arcs of the series. The fated reunion. From the very beginning of the series over 20 years ago, there was a promise, made between Luffy and Shanks, for Luffy to return the Straw Hat to Shanks when he becomes a great pirate. Luffy has done a lot in his short career as a pirate, from defeating 3 of the warlords, infiltrating Enies lobby and Impel Down, punching a celestial dragon, and crashing the Marineford War. All of these feats are incredible, but it wasn't until Luffy defeated Kaido and became an Emperor of the Sea that he truly became a great pirate in the eyes of Shanks, holding the same Emperor title as Shanks and having a crew that can surpass the red-haired pirates. It is finally time for Luffy and Shanks to reunite. Shanks has been watching Luffy's pirate career from afar, waiting for this moment to come, and there are a lot of questions that need to be answered. Shanks clearly knows about the Nika fruit, since he went out of his way to get it. For a mostly peaceful character like Shanks to actively choose violence is very interesting. Many viewers have already theorized that Shanks was in the East Blue, looking to give the Nika fruit to Ace, but it ended up in Luffy's hands. But some questions still remain. Why didn't Shanks take the Nika fruit for himself? Surely a pirate as strong as him could make better use of the fruit faster than a kid like Luffy. Why did Shanks choose to give the fruit to the next generation? And why has Shanks waited for Luffy to emerge as Joy Boy to begin his quest for the One Piece? Is Shanks just using Luffy, or does he truly want the best for Luffy? Shanks is a character full of mystery, And many of these questions need to be addressed when Luffy and Shanks finally reunite. Even recently, Shanks' past has come into question, with his very possible Celestial Dragon lineage coming into question. Oda has made fans wait for over 20 years for this reunion, and Elbaf may just be the place for this highly anticipated moment to happen. Shanks and Luffy's reunion might not be all laughs. It could also lead to a potential fight. Davy backfight. Now, I'm not the first person to come to this theory, but it makes sense. Luffy promised Shanks that he would have a crew that can surpass Shanks' crew, and having a Davy backfight would be one way to prove it. Now that Shanks has robbed Kid of his poneglyph rubbings, and began his quest for the One Piece in earnest, he will need the rubbing from Zou that Luffy has. Shanks may also have a lead on the final road poneglyph, and may point Luffy in the right direction if he wins the Davy backfight. A Davy backfight would also be a way to make the dreadfully boring, long ring, long land arc relevant to the story, and give the Straw Hats memorable fights against the red-haired pirates. Luffy vs Shanks, Zoro vs Ben Beckman, Sanji vs Lucky Roo, and even Usopp vs Yasop, and all of the other potential matchups between the two pirate crews. Oda set up the Davy backfight a very long time ago, and having one here would be a great way to pay off the foreshadowing, and with the Straw Hats defeating the red-haired pirates, Luffy would make good on his promise to have a crew that is superior to Shanks' crew. The Giants of Elbaf. Despite having thousands under her command, Big Mom believed that if she had the Giants of Elbaf as her allies, she would have become the king of the pirates, or queen of the pirates in her case. Big Mom has alluded that the warriors of Elbaf are very powerful, and she views them in very high esteem. Giants have been sprinkled throughout the story, with some being Marines helping the world government, and others being pirates opposing the world government. This is pretty interesting considering that no other races have joined the Marines. No Fishmen, Skypians, Minks, or Tontatas have joined the Marines. It is very likely that all of these races were allied with the ancient kingdom that fell during the Void Century. All of these various races, including the Giants. We know that the Giants were somehow connected to the ancient kingdom, because Saul is a member of the D clan. That's what makes the Giants so interesting. During the Straw Hats' time on Elbaf, Oda may elaborate on how some of the Giants came to vastly different worldviews, whilst other races did not, explaining why some Giants would actively choose to work under the world government, whilst other races do not. With the combination of Saul still being alive, and the reveal that the Giants were able to salvage the books from Ohara's library, Oda may be setting the stage for a possible glimpse into the Void Century from the Giants' perspective, or at the very least, give us a few more hints as to what may have transpired 800 years ago during the Void Century. The Kid Pirates. Now if you hate Eustace Kid, this is probably the end of the video for you. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, or dislike if you didn't, yada yada, you get the point. For everyone else, let's talk about Eustace Kid. Now some people believe that Kid is done in the story and we will never see him again. I highly doubt this though, and I have a video planned to further dive into that topic, but that is a different video for another time. Eustace Kid is a character of few highs and many lows, with his lowest point coming very recently, with his crushing defeat at the hand of Shanks. I already made a video explaining where Oda may be taking Kid's character after this defeat. I will link it in the card above. Expanding from that video, Kid's ship has been destroyed near Elbaf. There is no other place for Kid to go but Elbaf. Instead of a random island in the New World, Oda had Shanks defeat Kid near Elbaf, an island the Straw Hats will visit for sure. This isn't Kid's first defeat, but it is his worst. Kid has been over-relying on his devil fruit, and way too confident in his own abilities. And now he's been soundly defeated by Shanks, a man with no devil fruit at all, drawing a strong parallel to Luffy's defeat at the hands of Kaido. Luffy is not the smartest character in One Piece, but he was still smart enough to see how Kaido was infusing Conqueror's Haki into his attacks. Kid is smarter than Luffy, so he may be able to notice how Shanks was infusing Conqueror's Haki into his attacks as well. It is not that crazy to believe that Kid may also pick up advanced Conqueror's Haki in the near future. Oda has made Luffy and Kid's strength progression polar opposites. Whilst Luffy was focusing on Haki for 2 years, Kid was focusing on his Devil Fruit, allowing Kid to awaken his Devil Fruit before Luffy. Whilst Luffy has learned different forms of advanced Haki, Kid hasn't shown much in the Haki department. Despite Oda stating that Kid has all 3 types of Haki, Kid has yet to show any real Haki prowess. Kid has shown some interest in Luffy's use of Ryo Haki against Kaido, and now he should know the true potential of Conqueror's Haki. Considering Kid is in hostile territory, and he cannot leave Elbaf without a ship, Kid would have to spend some time on Elbaf. We have already seen the leaps in improvement Luffy had during his 11-hour fight with Katakuri, and his time in the Udon prison. Even the time frame of Luffy learning advanced Conqueror's Haki was pretty short. As Kaido stated, his Haki transcends all. Kid is already a very powerful pirate, but having top tier Haki is what separates strong pirates from truly legendary pirates. Improving his Haki would be the last thing Kid needs in order to become one of the strongest pirates in One Piece history. With Kid's poneglyph rubbings being taken away, we may learn more about Kid's true goals. Does he want to become Pirate King just like Luffy, or does he have alternative goals, similar to Law? Now that his ship is destroyed and his crew is defeated, does he just give up on his dreams, or does he keep moving forward? Does Kid stay the same as a character, or does he learn from his mistakes? How will Luffy react after learning that Shanks defeated Kid? And what will he say to Kid after learning about his defeat? Elbaf could be where we get these answers. But this is my list of reasons explaining why Elbaf will be legendary. Let me know which one you were looking forward to the most. Is there something you were looking forward to that wasn't on the list? Are you hyped for Elbaf or not? If you liked this video, you may like one of these as well. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video or a dislike if you didn't, and consider subscribing for more videos like this in the future. Thanks for watching.